Okay, good. Yeah, thanks very much for coming along. Hopefully you'll get a few good takeouts from this webinar. I'll start by sharing my screen and jump into our dashboards to go. So hello everyone. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch our GoSquared webinar. Some of you today will be familiar with GoSquared, but we will also have some people who this will be the first time they've been introduced to GoSquared. So for those that are new, GoSquared acts as the mission control for your business. It's our all-in-one platform for marketing, sales, and support. Today, our main goal is to show you how to get set up as quickly and effectively as possible so you can start getting as much value out of our platform from day one. To start, this demo is going to assume that you've got our JavaScript snippet installed along with our identify method. That is what will allow you to track down to an individual user level based on that user having logged into your site. If you haven't done this yet, you can find all the details on how to do so at www.gosquared.com/docs. With that in place, what I want to show you how to do today is segment your site's users based on their attributes and the actions they take on your site, trigger automation around those segmented groups of users, and finally, how to use live chat to engage with members of those segmented groups of users. So I'm going to start by jumping into our dashboards. When you log into GoSquared, you'll see our dashboards on the left-hand side. We have our Now dashboard, which shows you the data of your visitors in real time. Trends, which extends that data over longer periods of time to help you make data-informed decisions. People, this is where I'll spend the majority of the webinar. It's here that we can drill down to the individual user-level data of your visitors. And this is what allows you to segment your users. And from there, we can start to trigger automation. And finally, inbox. Here we can engage with these users on a one-to-one basis and hopefully get valuable qualitative data. So to start, I'm going to really briefly look at our analytics dashboards, which give you a nice high-level view of what data we're able to collect from your visitors. So now is your real-time analytics dashboard that shows your website's visitors in real time. The nice thing about our dashboards is they're designed with simplicity in mind. We want them to be really clean and easy to understand, so most stuff should really be self-explanatory. You'll see the details such as number of users online right now. You'll see a timeline plotted of how you're performing, in this case today versus yesterday. The grayed out line being yesterday's activity, and the white line in the front is today's activity. You'll also have your content, which is effectively the pages that your users are viewing right now and the amount of users that are viewing those pages. And things like languages and locations are obviously relatively self-explanatory. Sources will allow you to identify where the traffic has come from. So you'll have your sites, the search engines that have driven traffic, as well as any social channels that have driven traffic your way. And another really good way to identify specifically what social activity has driven traffic your way is our Twitter integration. And it gives me an opportunity to introduce integrations. When we say integration, what we effectively mean is any third party that we can introduce into our dashboard, like this Twitter widget, or vice versa, any third party that we can integrate with. So if we just quickly look at Twitter, you just plug in a keyword that you want to search for, and you'll be able to see any times that your keyword is mentioned on Twitter in real time. And that will effectively be the Now dashboard. So a really nice, clean, quick, easy way to identify what's going on your site, no matter anyone's level of analytics. This moves us on to trends, which is effectively the same data, but just extended over longer periods of times. So trends is real time, so you'll always be able to see how you're doing to the most recent hour. Hence, in this case, the drop-off that we're seeing in the day, which we're not seeing there. But one of the really nice things about GoSquared is if you see on the left-hand side here, you'll be able to toggle through your total visits, your total visitors, your page views, bounce rate, and average engaged time across that period of time, in this case a week. But it will also give you estimates on how you're looking to perform for that period of time, which is something that other analytics providers may provide, but it's usually a little bit difficult to set up, and it's just something that GoSquared gives you out of the box. You'll also be able to see in our sources tab, which is right here, you'll be able to see specific tweet activity that's driven traffic to your site. So if we jump into Twitter here, you'll be able to see the exact tweets and how many visits that tweet is driven to your site. So really useful for identifying any type of social content you're pushing out that's resonating with people, but also will give you the ability to identify any social advocates that you may have. The other thing that I wanted to look at was events, and this doesn't have any events in it, so that's something to think about. But events will effectively be any actions that a user undertakes on your site. So this can be something like a page view, or it can be a specific button clicked. And it's something I'll go into more detail as we move forward, but it's in your trends dashboard where you'll be able to see the high-level overview of any events that you've triggered or a user has triggered on your site. And that brings me nicely onto people. And people is where we're able to drill down specifically into individual user level behavior. So it will really be your centralized hub for any identified user level data that you have. So when you identify a user on your site, either by them logging in or registering for your service, we're able to take the email that they provide and enrich it with the social data associated with that email. And that's really why we call it GoSquared People, because rather than just looking at visitor data, you're now able to see a real world view of who that person actually is. So if I click on a profile, I'm able to get a history of their events, similar to a Facebook newsfeed, really, and you're able to see everything that Alfredo has done on our demo site, as well as any pages viewed and any events that he's triggered. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of those links to his social profiles. So if we want to click through, we give you a bit more specifically to get some more real-world insight to who Alfredo is. And on the right, you'll be able to see the properties of Alfredo. And properties will be specific attributes of that user. Examples of things that we track out of the box are page views and visits, where you're able to add whatever custom properties you would like. These could be things like the monthly recurring revenue or the tier of the plan that they're on. Once you have all this data on your user, you're able to start segmenting them based on similar properties or events they've undertaken. And you do this by creating smart groups. So you might want to set smart groups up as a way to identify common attributes of your high value users, or because you want to take action on a segmented group of users. And we call them smart groups because once you've set up the filters and saved it, then they'll update in real time whenever a new user either matches or no longer matches these filters. A really easy example would be, let's find all of our London users. So if we jump into add a filter, and I'm going to click property because the city would be a property of that user. I'm going to say I want to find anyone of my users that have that are based in London, and then I can save that smart group as London users, and then the next time someone logs in that matches that filter, they'll automatically be added to that group. And you'll see it's a really nice way to take a longer list of individuals. I think we had 40 in our original list, and narrow it down to a much more actionable group of users. On top of properties, what we can do is also filter by event. So these, again, are any actions that you're tracking that a user takes on your site. So let's build a smart group of people who may have had some difficulty getting set up with our demo site service. So we'll start by clicking add a filter, and we're going to click events. And let's first find anyone that signed up for a trial and let's say we'll do it within the last 2 months. And then what I'm going to want to find out is anyone that's signed up for a trial but actually hasn't activated their plan. So we'll click activated account, and we'll say it's happened exactly 0 times because it hasn't happened at all. So now I've got a group of users that signed up for a trial but never actually managed to activate it. And then if we might want to make an inference that they were having a bit of trouble and that's the reason that they didn't end up activating, we could say, why don't we look at any of those users that have also viewed the installation guide, and we'll just say more than 0 times, so at least once. And then we have it. So we can save that group as trouble activating. And you've got a really nice use case there. So these are users that we can reach out to and see if they need any more help getting set up. And let's also really quickly create one last smart group of new signups. So let's just say all of our users that have signed up for a trial, and we'll say within the last 60 days, so the last couple months, and we'll call this our new user group. Great. So now when we have our smart groups in place, as I mentioned, when a new user matches these filters and enters this smart group, we can use that event to trigger automation. And likewise, when they no longer match and they exit the smart group, we can use that event to trigger automation also. So let's set up an example automation now. And what I'm going to want to happen is as soon as someone signs up and falls into this new user group, I'm going to want to get sent a notification. I'm going to want to be sent a notification. And because I pretty much live in Slack, I'm going to get it sent to a Slack channel. If you're not familiar with Slack, it's a real-time messaging platform that teams use to communicate. So quite similar to a real-time email, really. So let's jump into where all of our automation lives. And if we go into project settings and services, and it's here that we can connect any of our automatic integrations or third parties like Zapier that can handle a lot of integrations for us. But for now, let's just focus on Slack, and we'll click connect. And then what I'm going to want to do is add a new integration. So we start just by going and setting up a GoSquared integration with Slack. So we click this blue link here, and it will direct us to Slack. And what I'm going to want to do is create a new channel, and I'll call it new trial users. And we'll give it a purpose, new users to reach out to. We'll create a channel. And then we simply just click add GoSquared integration. It'll take us to a setup guide, and all we really need from this setup guide is this URL. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. I'm going to jump back to my services. I'm going to paste it where it says Slack URL. Then I'm going to call it new signups. Save integration. And that's it, it's done. So whenever a new user now matches that smart group, I'm automatically going to get pinged a message with all of the user's details in my new Slack channel. And that will give me the ability to do something like reach out to them and see if they need any help getting set up, or even start a live chat with that user, which gives me a nice opportunity to introduce live chat to them. So if you've visited our marketing site, or if you jump on something like the demo site I have here, you'll see that we have a little widget on the bottom right corner that will allow you to add live chat to your website as well. And this is a really nice way for users to communicate with you directly in real time with any questions that they may have. So if we type in and we say hello, few questions, we'll pop back to our demo site dashboard. If we jump into inbox, you'll see that it started a new communication in inbox. An inbox is really your platform as an agent to communicate with your customers. The first time you'll view it, you'll see on the left, this is where all your conversations are going to live. You've got the ability to archive them when you're done with them. You click into a conversation, you'll see that we're able to click through and jump into a user's profile and see everything that they've been doing on your site up until this point, where they've originally come from. In this case, I just typed it directly into the browser bar and landed on the home page. Now, a really good way to proactively engage with a user on your site is with a live chat prompt. And so this will effectively display a message when a user lands on your site without them having to click onto the widget and engage directly. And how we go about doing this is in our project settings and chat. And this is where all of your chat configuration will live. And then if we jump into chat prompt, and we're going to put a message to let people know we've got live chat. So, hello, we have live chat. Chat with us. And we'll want that to be on our homepage. And we want it to happen after 3 seconds. So not as soon as someone lands on the site, but after they landed and had a bit of a chance to look around. And if we toggle that on, click save, then the next time a new user lands on our site, after a few seconds load up, we'll see, hello, we have live chat, chat with us. Great, I love live chat. So you'll see one of the really important things is that our user didn't have to enter any email addresses or a login or any of this stuff that may have created a bit of friction between them and engaging with us. So, but what we do give is the ability that after they have started chatting, say for example, if you were away or they just wanted to pass some more details for you to get back to them, a pop-up box for them to enter their email address will appear. So if we pop into our inbox, you'll see that again, that's created another anonymous chat for us, and we'll click into that. And then when we jump back to our demo site, I'm going to say, actually, it's James at GoSquared. And you'll see then that will start to stitch in real time. And on top of that, when we are able to refresh, it will also pull in all of James's social profile information, which it didn't do at this point. There it is, all along the left-hand side, which sometimes can take a few seconds to pull in. But again, now from that visitor, we've got a real-world view of everything, who they are, and everything they've done on your site at that point. And that's chat. It's a really good way to engage with your users. Now, because we actually have a shared inbox in chat, what we're able to do is communicate between team members. And we might want to talk to team members who are engaging with, or can see us engaging with James. And we might want to leave a note that we don't necessarily want James to see, but just that some of our colleagues can see to be aware of what's happening in the conversation. And we can just say, James loves live chat. And then we'll click save. And then if we were to jump back to James, you'd see that James did not see that message. And he can continue letting us know how much he loves live chat and GoSquared. And it's a really, really effective way, as I mentioned, to communicate with customers and get a lot more qualitative data from them to find out any questions that they may have before they even get to the sign-up process and convert into a new user. And then finally, what else we're able to do with chat is, as we've created our new smart groups, we can also take those smart groups and let's find the people that we had trouble activating. And all of those people who may have had a common problem, we can send a broadcast chat message. Did you have trouble activating? Activating. Here to help if so. And we can have a little emoji and a preview. It's displaying. And we can send a broadcast message to all those users so that the next time that they log in, that they will see that message pop up and they may want to engage with us again. And if you're wondering, if I'm not in my dashboard, am I going to be able to communicate with these users? If you jump back into chat, we also have mobile and desktop apps. So we have Android and iOS apps as well as Mac OS apps as well. So no matter where you are, if you want to engage with the users, you've got the opportunity to do so. And that's GoSquared. Hopefully a relatively concise introduction to how you can use GoSquared really effectively from day one. And within this webinar, what I hope you've taken away is how to effectively segment your users and to build automation on top of those segments so you can be more effective with any marketing that you may be doing. And finally, how to engage with those users in live chat to build a more fluid conversation with them. And that's us. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let me know.